morning, clients of SHP. My name is Kelly Chadwick. I'm an admin assistant at SHP, and I'm also a registered yoga instructor. I'll be guiding you this morning or this afternoon, whenever you decide to tune in, through about a 45-50 minute gentle flow. I offer modifications as we go, so please just remember to honor your body. If you're working with any injury, right, you should never feel any pain or pinching. We're just looking for sensation here. You may want blocks. If you don't have blocks, sometimes unopened tissue boxes can do. You may want a blanket for Shavasana or a pillow, so be sure to grab anything that will make you more comfortable, and a mat, of course. And as you're ready, let's start all the way down on our backs. So mindful that you're in the middle of the mat, come all the way down to your back. Once you arrive down onto your back, knock your knees in together to touch and toe heel your feet out wide, the width of the mat. And take a moment to tuck your shoulders slightly underneath you. And that might be plenty, enough of a little bit of a lift for the chest, a little opener. If you wanted to take it deeper into the shoulders, you could even cactus out your arms or goddess arms so that elbows are in line with shoulders. Forearms are then rested, probably on the floor beside you, palms face up. This can be a pretty intense shoulder opener, especially if it's first thing in the morning. So if you get there and you decide, nope, that's a little too intense, go ahead and take your arms back by your sides. You want to make sure that they're grounded, they're rooted down somewhere, so they're not just hanging out in the air. Allow your next exhale to soften your eyes to a close. Just for a moment, begin to notice the natural rhythm of your own breath. So maybe a little bit jagged, or perhaps it's sort of stuck up here in your chest. That's okay, right? We're not judging, we're just noticing and taking stock, inventory, if you will, of what's going on with your body. We'll use this time on our mat today to really drop in and connect our movement with our breath as we're flowing. So let's use the next inhale to inflate your belly like a balloon. See if you can send the inhale to your ribs as well. And then just soften the ribs, draw the belly button right back into the spine on the exhale. Again, like that, inhale, inflate the belly, push the belly button out, the ribs. Now send the inhale all the way up to the chest. Find expansiveness across your chest. And then soften your chest first, then through your ribs. Then finally the exhale comes through the belly, belly button draws back in. This three-part Dirga breath, this yogic breathing, helping you to create full expansive breaths. We'll see if we can keep this breath work as we move, as we flow through class. If at any point during the practice you find that you're out of breath, you can take that as a sign that maybe you went a little too far and pull back. And see if we can do one more round at that pace. Inhale, inflate belly, push ribs out, chest expands. Exhale, soften chest, soften ribs, soften belly. If it's comfortable to you, stay with that, maybe sealing off the lips if you hadn't already, and guiding that inhale and exhale through your nose. If at any point those inhales and exhales become too much, right, of course, always just come back to the natural rhythm of your own breath. Take a moment to set an intention this morning. So invitation to place one hand on your belly and one hand on your heart center. We'll just take a moment to call that intention to mind. An intention could be something you're trying to work with or something you're trying to cultivate in your own life. It could be someone that you want to send some little extra love to. If nothing's jumping out at you, then maybe you just take this time to honor yourself, right? Honor what it took for you to get here on your mat. the time you carved out, especially for you. Together, we'll find a deep breath in through your nose and an open mouth exhale through your mouth. If it's comfortable, seal off the lips. Continue guiding that breath through the nose. And then slowly begin to separate the knees. So have the knees still face the sky. The feet are still planted down onto the mat. And then use your next breath in to keep your left leg exactly where it is. Just draw the right knee in towards your chest. If it feels accessible to you, you could even reach for the back of your thigh or the back of your kneecap. And then begin to straighten your right leg towards the sky. I'm just remaining seated so that you can see me and hear me better, right? But you're still on your back. And start some ankle circles from here. So maybe you want to point and flex your foot. Left foot still stays rooted down, left knee faces towards the sky, and that right leg is hugged in. If it feels okay in the hamstring, you're straightening the right leg, right, to any degree that feels good for you. You might have a little bend, and that's fine. And pointing, flexing, maybe even circling the ankle. Let's bring that back to a close and just flex the right foot. So now the sole of the foot faces towards the sky. Relax your shoulders, relax your jaw. Allow your inhale to maybe pull the right leg away from your torso slightly so that, see if you can straighten it a little bit more this way. You might feel a little bit more stretch in the calf and the hamstring. Allow your exhale to pull the right leg in towards your torso a little bit more. Let's stay for one more breath like that. Inhale. Now take the exhale right into figure four. So you're bending the right leg. I'll come down and demo if you're confused. So you'll bend the right leg and cross the right ankle over the left thigh. And you can take your right hand here and just gently press the right thigh away. That could be plenty. It's a pretty deep hip opener from here. And see what it feels like to point the foot. So I know typically here the cue is to flex the foot. But you actually engage more muscles when you point that right foot. So here's step one. You can stay right here and just work this hip opener. If you feel you have a little more space to play around with, perhaps you pull your left knee in towards your chest, loop your hands around your left thigh. Right here, step two, that could be plenty, much deeper for the right hip, right knee. And again, never any pain or pulling, just sensation. Maybe you stay here, or maybe you begin to extend left leg straight this time up to the sky. So you're starting to work through that left hamstring, left calf. Flex left foot. You might even enjoy a gentle rock side to side here. Or perhaps stillness is calling to you. Let's stay for one more round of breath. If you were rocking side to side, come back through stillness. Inhale. And exhale. Gently release your figure four shape. So uncross the right ankle off the left thigh. Both feet meet the mat now. Knees again face towards the sky. Just take a moment of pause. Release. And then use your next inhale to draw left knee into the chest. Reach for the back of the left thigh or perhaps the left kneecap. Wherever you can reach is fine. If you can't reach, that's okay too. Your hands can just be by your side. From there, begin to straighten your left leg. So the sole of the foot will reach towards the sky, and then play around with point flexing. And the right foot stays rooted down onto the mat. That right knee still faces the sky. And at first, don't worry about the bend in your left knee for right now, right? So I can have a big bend if needed, if that's more supportive for you, great. Just rolling the ankle. Really starting to tune in, right? How am I feeling in my left leg this morning? How am I feeling in my body this morning? And perhaps even asking yourself, what are the quality of my thoughts? And then eventually, let's pull the left leg away from the torso just slightly and see if you can straighten it a little bit more. You may have more access here, accessibility to straighten that left leg the further away it is. And maybe that's plenty, right? Or maybe you use your exhale to pull the left leg closer in towards your torso. You might feel deeper here in the hamstring and the calf. At the bottom of your next exhale, let's cross into figure 4. So bend into the left leg, cross the left ankle over right thigh this time. And again, maybe you just stay right there. Arms can be by your sides. Perhaps you take your left hand this time, press that left thigh away from you. That could be plenty. Right? If it is, you stay there. If you feel you have more space to play around with, use the inhale to draw the right knee into your chest and grab for the back of the right thigh. And again, maybe that's plenty. That's a deep hip opener, right? If so, stay. You shouldn't be straining through your neck, right? Your head's still supported on the mat. Your shoulders are still rooted down. So if you feel yourself straining or your breath becomes uneasy, right? Pull back. Honor your body. And if it feels okay, you can straighten the right leg this time towards the sky. So a little extra added hamstring stretch there. And maybe you find that rock side to side, or maybe you just settle right into stillness. Remember to point that left leg, left foot. And then as you're ready, come back through stillness if you were finding that sway. Release right leg down if it was lifted, and just eventually uncross the figure 4 shape. Just take a moment of pause here. Press your lumbar spine, that lowest point, the triangle point of your low back, down firmly into the mat. Use the inhale to draw the knees, both knees into your chest. Reach for the shins is fine. And again, find a little sway side to side. Just realign through the spine, massage the low back, relax your shoulders. And then eventually roll off onto your favorite side. Does not matter, right or left. Root down through that forearm to lift yourself up. Now from this position, we'll swing the legs around and come into a tabletop position, facing the front of your mat. So as you arrive in your tabletop position, hands and knees, you'll stack your joints so that your knees are right over your hips and that your shoulders are right in line with your wrists. Now check in here. If you're on a hardwood floor, you may want to roll your mat over to support your shins and your knees, or you may want a blanket to support your shins and your knees, right? So you can take a moment of pause here and grab that if you need it. Meet us back in table when you're ready. Now from this tabletop position, we'll go through a few rounds of cow-cat. So inhale, sink your belly down, shine your chest forward, take a breath in. Use the breath out to round the upper back, pull the chin into the chest, press the mat away. Few more rounds. So inhale, sink the belly, lift the heart. Exhale, chin pulls into chest. You round the upper back as you really press the mat away from you. Really puffing up your upper back. Maybe come back to that 3-part breath. Inhale, sink the belly, shine your chest forward. Exhale, round, chin draws into chest. Next time you find yourself on an exhale, rounded back, just pause. And then come back to a neutral flat spine. Right, so of course you'll have a little bit of a curve, it is your spine, but as much of a flat back as you can. Right, so see if you can draw your low belly in to really engage your core, so you're not having a big arch in your low back or dumping into your low back at all. And then use the inhale to extend the right leg back behind you. Now for most support, you can draw your left knee in towards more of the center of the mat for a little bit more balance support. You can also keep your right toes down. If you're feeling balanced or want to challenge your balance a little bit this morning, float your right foot up so that your right heel is in line with your right hip. Have your gaze stay down. I know it might be tempting to look at me, but see if you can just listen to my cues and have your gaze in the same direction as your heart so that you're really protecting your cervical spine here, right? Your neck. Oh, pause for the breath in. Now use the breath out to take the right foot all the way over to the left. Tap the toes down. This time, gaze over your left shoulder. So you feel that stretch all through your right side body. And you're gazing back at your right toes. Let's lift the toes back up. Inhale, come back through center. Lots of core here. Pull the belly button in. And again, exhale, same side, over to the left. Gaze over the left shoulder. Tap the toes down. Breathe through your right side body. So it means sending awareness to that right side body, feeling your stretch there. Come back through center, inhale. One last time, exhale all the way over to the right. Gaze over the left shoulder, over to the left rather. Gaze over your left shoulder. Come back through center, breathe in. And then tap the toes down if they're not already there. And just send the weight back, coming into a calf stretch. Your toes are tucked and your weight is pulling back. So you should feel this stretch through your calf. Your shoulders are now probably beyond your wrists, right? That's great. Use your next inhale to shift back forward. Float the leg once again. Find a bend into the knee this time. Let's come into some hip circles here. I'm going to switch sides just so you can see me better. So my right foot, your right foot should be flexed. And you're just finding some hip circles here, drawing those circles with your knee. These could be little baby circles, or maybe they're a little bit wider depending on how much space you have throughout your knee. Switch directions in your own time, remembering your core, right? You're pulling your belly button into your spine, so you're not dumping in that low back, no arch there. Let's come back through stillness and then step the right foot forward in between your hands. I'll come to face you and I'm mirroring you, so I'm using my left leg, but mindful that you're still using your right leg. Your right leg steps forward as you're ready. Ground down through your right foot and lift yourself up. Option to keep your hands right at your hips if you're working with any shoulder pain, right, or for a little bit more stability. If it feels accessible to you, you can take your arms up overhead. Low lunge, Anjaneyasana. See if you can soften through those inner shoulders. So you're really just pulling through your side body and outer arms. And take a breath in here. Use the breath out to just release your right hand down to your right hip. And keep your left arm lifted. Reach through your fingertips. Breathe in. Side bend to the right on your breath out. So deeper side bend stretch this time. You're really feeling those muscles, your intercostal muscles, which are the muscles in between your ribs. Feel that stretch through them here. Squeeze your thighs in together to find your balance. The core is engaged. Inhale, come back through center. Both arms lift up overhead. Exhale, release your hands down to your mat. Root down through your left hand and sweep your right hand up for an open twist, or a twist towards your right knee. Arms stay open like a T, right? That top right hand, that palm faces out. If you had blocks or that tissue, you may feel more supportive with that underneath, right? So that's always an option. If not, we'll make do with what we have. Take one more breath in here. Reach those top right fingertips. Exhale, release. Both hands meet the mat. Now this time, sink a little bit deeper into the lunge and toe heel your right foot forward quite a bit so that your heel is past your knee. Let's take another inhale here. Maybe you sink a little bit deeper. Find that length through your left psoas, that left hip flexor. And then exhale, straighten your right leg. You may even come up onto your heel. Toes could face towards the sky for half split, half Hanumasana. Right, so this, again, if you have blocks or those tissues or maybe even a hardcover book, right, that could be helpful up here a little bit more. If not, that's okay, we'll make do. Stay up on fingertips if that feels better. You should feel the stretch through your hamstring and inner thigh. Right, so toes can face the sky or maybe down, right, depending on how your calf feels. And really just working on melting your torso on top of your right thigh. Next, inhale, guide yourself back into your lunge. Plant down through your palms and step right back to tabletop position. Hands and knees up, come this way so that you can see me. Let's take an inhale, sink the belly, shine the heart forward, cow-cat. Exhale, round the upper back, pull the chin to the chest, round. Good. Back through neutral, flat back. Now this time, right, option to glide right knee in towards the middle of the mat a little bit more. That'll just give you a little bit more stability, more balance. Mindful of your core, belly button stays in, so no arch in that low back. Glide left leg back this time. You can keep those toes down for most support, or perhaps you float up. So the left heel is in line with the left hip. Flex your foot. And take a deep breath in, fill all the way up. This time, left leg glides all the way over to the right. Tap the toes down, send the gaze over the right shoulder this time. Little side bend here. Inhale comes back through center. And again, exhale over to the right. Tap the toes down, gaze over right shoulder. Inhale back through center. It's okay if you go at your own pace. You may want to go a little slower than I'm calling out. That's great. Exhale, left toes over to the right. Send the gaze out. Let's come back through center. Breathe in. If they're not already there, tap your left toes down this time so that they're curled over, and then send the weight back so you feel that stretch all along your left calf. Next inhale, glide back forward. Big bend into the left leg. Keep the left foot flexed. Find that circle with your knee, right? Those hip circles once again on this side. So you're really still pressing down through your hands. Core stays engaged here as you're just finding that opening through your hip. Switch directions. As you're ready, come back through stillness. I'm coming this way to face you so you can see me a little bit better. Eventually step your left leg through in between your hands towards your left thumb. As you're ready, root down through your left foot and rise into your lunge. Hands can stay at hips. Or if it's accessible, take the arms up overhead. So my right leg is leading because I'm mirroring you, but again, your left leg is forward. Mindful that you're rooting your tailbone down and your low belly is pulling up. Take a breath in here. Use the exhale to release left hand down to left hip this time. If both hands are on your hips still, right, that's fine too. If that right arm is lifted, see if you can reach a little bit higher, breathe in, and then side bend to the left. So again, feeling that stretch through your intercostal muscles. Just squeezing your thighs in together. Right, are you breathing? Let's use the inhale to come back through center. Both arms come back up overhead if that feels good for one breath in. Breathe out, hands meet the mat. This time you root down through your right palm and sweep the left hand up. So twist towards your left leg. Arms are out like a T, that top palm faces out. Your gaze to follow the same direction as your heart. And see if you can reach for those top fingertips for one more breath in. And then breathe out. Come up back onto your fingertips. They frame your front foot. Sink a little bit deeper into the lunge as you toe heel your left foot forward, forward, forward this time. Right? Take a breath in. Feel that stretch through your right psoas this time. That right hip flexor is pulling, opening. Exhale, half hanima, half split. Straighten your left leg. You may even find that you can come up onto your left heel. Toes can face towards the sky as you fold your torso. I'm going to come this way. You stay right as you are, but I'll come this way so that you can see me a little bit better in this angle. And again, blocks can be really helpful here. I'm really tight through my hamstring, so I have a bend into my knee. Right? You can have a straight knee, or you can even have a bigger bend, or maybe blocks to come upright a little bit more. But what you want to look into is that if you find that your hips are way past that back knee, you probably won't feel the stretch as much up here. So you'll want to toe heel your left foot forward even more so that your hip, your right hip, can stay stacked right over your right knee. And you're really just working that calf, hamstring, inner thigh stretch. Let's allow the next inhale to come back into the lunge. You may want to toe heel the foot back in. And then exhale, step it back to table. Move through around a cow-cat at your own pace. Inhale, shines the heart forward. Exhale, press the mat away. Round the upper back. Let's come back to a neutral back. Send your gaze forward. Press into your palms. Roll over the toes. Lift the knees. We'll step forward to a standing forward fold at the top of the mat. However you want to get there is fine by me. But when you arrive in the forward fold, have your feet hip distance apart. Little bend into your knees. Check in. If you're someone who has low blood sugar, low blood pressure, you may find that halfway lift feels better, right? I have both, so I actually just prefer to stay in halfway lift in my practice. If that's the case for you too, you can even support your forearms on your thighs, and this really could be your forward fold, right? So take this as an option. If forward fold feels okay, right, you'll begin to fold torso on top of thighs. Now everyone, meet in that halfway lift. So find a long spine here. Long back, just like your table back. Reach the crown of the head forward. Press the hands into your shins. And then exhale, fold and bow. Right, one more time like that. Inhale, lift halfway, find length. This time, bigger bend into the knees. So you're supporting that low back. You're not pulling on the low back. Take your hands to your hips, elbows face the sky. And then nice and slow, ground down through the feet as you inhale, lift all the way to rise to stand. Sweep the arms up overhead as you're ready, out wide and up. And then take the hands through prayer at heart center. Let's reach right back up, breathe in. Maybe your gaze follows if you feel balanced towards your thumb. Exhale, release your hands out by your sides. Have your palms face forward. Tadasana, mountain pose. See if you can roll your shoulder heads back. Draw your shoulder blades in towards your spine. And then notice that allows your upper chest to puff a little bit, right? If you're puffing in that upper chest, see if you can soften your front ribs. So you're still finding your connection to center. Now, as always, your tailbone's still rooting down, your low belly's pulling up. Allow your next inhale to take your arms up overhead, breathe in. Hands come down through prayer. Let's keep them at heart center on the exhale. And then we'll keep the right leg leading, right? So right leg stays forward, right where it is. Let's just glide left leg back. So you're at the top of your mat. You decide what feels better. I'm gonna come this way for a moment so that you can see me. You can be in a high crescent lunge, which is on the ball of the back foot. That back heel is lifted. I feel more supported here. Or you can root your back heel down for a warrior one stance. But if you have any knee issues, that might feel too intense on that back knee, right? So know these are interchangeable, either high lunge or warrior one with the heel rooted. Maybe you stay here with the hands in prayer for a moment as you just find your balance. Squeeze your thighs in together just like we did. As you're ready, you'll take your arms up overhead. Let's take a breath in here. Root down through your right leg. Exhale, cactus out the arms. Invitation to bend into that right leg a little bit more if that feels okay. Inhale, take the arms back up overhead. Straighten the leg a little bit. Exhale, bend the leg, cactus the arms. You're working on drawing the shoulder blades in towards the spine. So you're really opening, puffing out your upper chest through the collarbone. Inhale, lift. Maybe you straighten the leg. Exhale, bend the leg. One more time, probably feeling it in the quads, maybe even in the glute. That's great. Inhale, lift. Right, exhale, bend, cactus the arms. Let's keep in this leg shape, but just take the arms up back overhead for an inhale. Open up to warrior two on the exhale. I'm gonna come this way so that you can see me better. So from warrior one, you take your arms out to the side and root the back left heel down to the mat. You may even wanna toe heel your leg out a little bit so you have a longer stance. Check in with your right knee. If you find that it's tracking way past your ankle, take that as a sign that you really can take a longer stance here. As you're ready, arms reach out. Right gaze to follow over your right fingertips. That right knee tracks a little bit more towards your pinky toe. If you're someone who has back pain or carries any kind of back pain right through their low back or maybe mid back, you want to think about sending your left toes, those back toes, in a little bit. So I know typically the toes is 90 degrees, that's the cue. But if you have back pain, notice what it feels like to send the toes in, maybe even like 45 degrees. It'll place your pelvis on a diagonal and just create more space through your SI. As you're ready, use the next exhale to sink a little bit deeper into your warrior two. And then inhale, straighten your right leg all together. Take your arms up overhead, easy warrior pose. Exhale, right back into warrior two. Work with your breath. Let's move with your breath. If you want to go slower, that's great. Inhale, straighten the leg. Arms touch up overhead. Palms touch together. Exhale out, warrior two. Inhale, easy warrior pose. Exhale, warrior two. One last time, inhale. Exhale, warrior two. Pause. Allow the next inhale to take the arms up overhead, but this time don't allow them to touch. And see if you can draw heels in, toes out. So you're shifting to open towards the side of your mat and have your wrist be in line with your ankles. So you're in a 5-pointed star shape. Grow tall through the top of your head. Root your tailbone down. Inhale. Let's exhale, take it into goddess pose. Bend the knees, bend the elbows. Inhale, 5-pointed star. Exhale, goddess. Take your time at your own pace. Core stays engaged. Glutes are probably engaged too. You'll probably feel it in the inner thighs. Exhale, goddess. Take it back into 5-pointed star. Inhale, one more time, goddess pose. Exhale. Let's find 5-pointed star as you're ready. Breathe in. This time, just take your hands to your heart in prayer on the breath out. Now stay with me. We'll roll on the ball of the back foot towards the top of the mat. So pivot on the feet, right back into high crescent lunge to the top of your mat, wherever that is. Right back into high lunge so your right leg is still leading, a little bend into the knee. Find a drishti, a steady focal point in front of you. And then use the exhale to step your back foot forward in Tadasana, back to the top of the mat. Release your arms by your sides as you're ready. Palms face forward. Awareness comes back into shoulder heads. Right, see if you can draw them back. And then again, you're softening those front ribs, finding that connection to center here. How is my breathing? Right, where is my mind? Option to take a water break if you'd like. See if you can notice any differences from your right to left side. Allow your eyes to take on light if they were closed, and then inhale, sweep your arms back up overhead. Exhale, hands come back through prayer. Keep them at heart center. Left leg leads this time. Glide right leg back. So I'm mirroring you, so I'll keep my right leg forward, my left leg back. Right now I'm gonna come this way just to again show you in your high lunge with your left leg leading, your back heel can be lifted or your back heel can be rooted down, 45-degree angle, so those right toes now face the top edge of the right mat. All right, so check in though. If that's pulling on the back knee, meet us in high crescent. As you're ready, take your arms up overhead. Just like we did before, we're squeezing our thighs in together. Right, drawing the tailbone down, the low belly up. Let's take a breath in. Exhale, cactus out the arms. Maybe you find a deeper bend into that top left leg, deeper lunge here. Inhale, lift. Exhale, squeeze shoulder blades into spine. Right, puff the upper chest. Inhale, lift. Nice. A few more times at your own pace. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower, pause. Stay right where you are with the bottom half. Just take the arms up overhead. Breathe in. Open up to warrior two on the breath out. So really all you're doing here in this warrior two stance is gliding that back heel down and taking the arms out. Check in with left knee this time. You still want it tracking right over ankle, so you could always toe heel out to create more of a length here. And again, if you want a little bit more support for your back, to put your pelvis on an angle, take your back right toes this time and spin them a little bit more forward. So you're not really at a 90-degree angle with your foot, you're more at like a 45. As you're ready, use the exhale, sink a little bit deeper into warrior two. Left knee tracks more towards pinky toe. Inhale, easy warrior, straighten the leg all together, arms reach up overhead, palms kiss. Exhale, warrior two, working with your breath. Notice what it feels like to link your breath with your movement. Exhale, warrior two. Easy warrior on the inhale. Exhale, warrior two. Relax your jaw, you don't need that here. Right, you don't need it tightened. No stress through the forehead. Allow your breath to move through you, and you're really allowing the pace of your breath to dictate the pace of your movement here. Next time you find yourself in Warrior Two, just pause, no rush getting there. Take it into 5-pointed star on your inhale. So the arms come back up overhead, but the palms don't touch. You toe heel your heels in and your toes out. So you're open up to the other side of your mat. If you can't see me, that's fine. I'll still continue to cue. So see if you can just go with a guided voice. Pause for the breath in. Exhale, goddess. Bend the knees, bend the elbows. Inhale, 5-pointed. Exhale, goddess. Talking and demoing is a lot, right? But I'm noticing that my breath is getting a little bit shorter than it was. So I'm gonna pull back a little bit, right? Invitation to do so as well. Maybe I hold 5-pointed star for a moment longer. Next time you find yourself through your goddess, just pause. And then take an inhale, take it to 5-pointed star. This time your exhale, just hands come to prayer. Take a breath in. We'll pivot on the feet. Careful on the hips, so nice and slow here, but come right back into your lunge towards the top of your mat. So your left leg leads, right, ball the back foot. Stay focused on your drishti. That's a steady focal point in front of you that's not moving. Inhale. Step to the top of the mat on the exhale. As you're ready, take the arms up overhead. Maybe the gaze follows. Exhale, hands by your sides. Just come back to Tadasana for a moment. Back to mountain pose. Palms face forward. You may even want to sway forward and back. Maybe you lift your toes for a moment if that feels comfortable. And then all the weight goes towards the toes. Maybe you lift your heels. Option to sway side to side here too until you find yourself grounded, rooted down through all 4 corners of the feet. Let's find back stillness here. Maybe even soften the eyes to a close. Little bend into the knees so you're not locking them out. Notice what it feels like to arrive back in stillness. Maybe you have an urge to move, to sway, right? How do you show up? Where does your mind go when your body gets still? And if it's kind of all over the place or maybe on plans, right, coming up or what you're cooking for dinner tonight, see if you can come back into the 3-part yogic breath. Right, that really is yoga at its core. Just noticing you're distracted, we're human, that happens, but then just coming back into body, back into breath, back into the awareness of the here and now. As you're ready, sweep your arms up overhead. Let's find an inhale. Let's take the hands through prayer. Just trace the midline all the way down on the exhale. Bend into the knees, hinge right at the hips. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Find your halfway lift. Press your shins right back into your hands. Fold forward, exhale. Plant the palms, step the right foot back to a table position, step the left foot to meet it. Let's meet right back in table. One more round of cow-cat, stack the joints, and as you're ready, inhale, heart shines forward. Exhale, chin draws into chest. Back to a neutral spine. Take the toes in together to touch. Take the knees out wide, maybe even the width of the mat. Send the hips back towards the heels. Let's come into child's pose, Balasana. Take the arms all the way forward, release forearms down, release forehead down. You may even like to sway the forehead back and forth. Massage your brow bone. See if you can reach through your fingertips a little bit more as you pull your inner shoulders back. Create some more space for your neck. Use the next inhale to walk your hands slowly towards your torso. Lift your torso up and then swing your legs around. Let's take the legs forward. Mindful that you scoot into the middle of your mat. Soles of the feet stay down, knees face the sky. Take your hands to the backs of your thighs. Find an inhale, roll the shoulder heads back, shine the heart forward. Exhale, round the upper back, pull the chin into the chest, and begin to lengthen through the arms. Let's roll one vertebra down at a time until you reach all the way down onto your back. Once you get down onto your back, stretch your legs long, take your arms up overhead. So give yourself a full body stretch. Notice what it feels like to point and flex through the feet. I'm going to remain seated so that you can hear me better, but you stay on your back. Use your next exhale to just release your hands by your sides. Find your next inhale and pull just the right leg into the chest. Just like we started with, right? But check in, because this time the left leg is straight, so it's a deeper stretch to that left psoas, left hip flexor. If it's too intense, come back to that bent knee position that you were started in with the left knee facing the sky, left foot down, right? If it feels okay, that left leg stays straight, that right knee pulls into chest. You can reach for the right shin or the back of the right thigh. Just creating that compression through your right psoas this time. Let's take one more breath in, inhale. And stay with me on the exhale, release the right hand out to the side. Allow your right palm to face up so you find the external rotation of the shoulder. And then use your left fingertips to guide the right knee across your body into a twist. I'll come down just briefly to demo. So your right arm is out to the side, your left knee is guiding your left fingertips are guiding your right knee across your body for that twist. So you decide how deep you go in this twist. If you have a pillow or a block or anything nearby to help support that right knee, that's always an option. Your left hand can stay just supported on the right thigh if that feels good. And if it feels okay in your upper neck, that cervical spine, maybe you send your gaze towards your right fingertips. From here, let's come back to the natural rhythm of your breath. So if you're working with any sort of breath work, manipulating, or that 3-part Dirga breath, right, that's great. But see if you can just release that now and really just fall back into your rhythm. Maybe your natural rhythm actually feels a little bit more expansive now, right, after dropping into the body a bit. Maybe not, right? There's no judgment, there's no right or wrong here. You're just really noticing. Hopefully, the thought, right, is to take that awareness off of the mat with you into your day. Right? So you have those moments of coming back to breath, back to body. Right? Not just when you're doing yoga, but maybe when you're feeling triggered out in the world or with family, right? And just taking a breather. Oh, right, back to my breath, back to sensation before you react. Let's draw the belly button in towards the spine so you're really engaging your core here to protect your low back, and then come back through center. Right knee pulls back into chest for one more inhale. Extend the right leg out on the exhale. Just take a moment of pause. Both legs are out. Find that length through your right hip flexor, right? You created a lot of compression there. Really find that length once again. And then inhale, draw left knee up into chest. Reach for the back of the thigh or maybe even the shin. And keep the knee bent though. Just keep that right knee pulling in towards chest. And again, check in with right leg. If it's too intense on that right side body, you could always bend the knee. That will offer you more support. Let's take one more breath in. Release the left arm out like a T. Have your palm to face up on the exhale. So you find that external rotation, the opening of the shoulder. Right fingertips this time, guide the left knee across your body into that twist. If it feels okay on the neck, right? No straining, but if it feels okay, the gaze can come towards the left, so the opposite side. Left knee goes right, gaze goes left. Notice the quality of your thoughts. Maybe take a moment to notice any shifts, right? Energetically, physically, mentally. At the bottom of your next exhale, core stays engaged. Come back through center. Inhale. Exhale, release the left leg out to meet the right. Just pause for a moment. And then let's come back to the pose we started in. So bend at the knees, soles of the feet plant down, take them wide, maybe even the width of the mat. Knock the knees in together to touch. This is a really restorative pose for your low back. And go ahead and press your lumbar spine firmly down into the mat. And take your right hand to your heart center and your left hand to your belly. And just ask yourself, is this the pose you feel will complete your practice? Right, if it is, we have about 5 to 7 more breaths, so stay right here and breathe until I guide you into our final resting pose, Shavasana. At this point, if you know, I really would like a pillow under my knees or maybe a blanket, maybe you're feeling a little chilly, maybe you grab that now, right? Or if there's any other shape or pose that your body is craving, and take that time to find it now. So perhaps you wanted to come back one more time into knees into chest, or take happy baby, which is taking your knees in towards your armpits, right? Reaching for your thighs or maybe even the sides of your feet, really just rooting the tailbone down. Maybe you wanted a figure 4, one more little hip opener that we started with. So really asking yourself, right, what does my body need? Maybe taking a moment to consider how often you actually ask yourself that, right? I know personally I just kind of move through my day, through my life, not really checking in with what my body needs. Spend a lot of my time in my mind, right? So you really just use this time to make it your own. If you're working with maybe a longer twist or a figure 4 or something that requires both sides, just in the next few breaths, go ahead and switch sides so you have the time for both, right? There's no rush, of course. Eventually, as you're ready, we'll meet in Shavasana. And check in with your low back. I prefer to take Shavasana with something supporting my knees or with knees bent. So if you find that extending your legs is kind of straining in your low back, keep your knees bent, knees knocked in. And of course, you're still on your back. Right, but again, sometimes it can feel supportive to have pillows under the knees, right? Or maybe even a blanket. Be mindful of your hand placement. So your palms can face up during Shavasana for opening, accepting the gifts of this practice, or perhaps palms face down for a little bit more grounding if you're feeling a little bit more racy in your thoughts. See if you can tuck shoulders slightly underneath you. And soften your eyes to a close. Just for timing purposes, it'll be about a 3-minute Shavasana. If you have time to stay longer, then I invite you, I encourage you to stay as long as you'd like. Right, so as I begin to guide you out in a couple of minutes, if you decide, no, this feels great, I want to stay longer, please stay longer. Really just take these few minutes to allow your mind to wander. And can you notice where it goes? Shavasana. And take a deep breath in through your nose. Open mouth, exhale, let it go. If you're staying for a longer Shavasana, stay right where you are. Just allow my words to flow right over you. If you're ready to be guided out, begin to invite movement back in. So move your jaw side to side. Maybe your tongue along your teeth. Circle your wrists, your ankles. If it's calling to you, you can take your arms up overhead for one more full body stretch. Release your arms back down and then exhale, roll off onto your right side. And find a moment of pause when you arrive. Right, just pausing on your side body. And this is the pose of new beginnings. We'll take this time to come back in to the intention that we set. Notice any shifts, right? Notice does it still resonates. If there was no intention, then you just take this time to come back in one last time, body, breath. Maybe you decide right here and now to take this awareness with you off of your mat into the day ahead. As you're ready, ground down through your right forearm and inhale, lift yourself up to a comfortable seated position on your mat. When you arrive in that seated position, take your hands to prayer at heart center. And then shift your thumbs to your third eye. The light inside of me honors the light inside of you. Namaste. And thank you so much for joining me today. Please feel free to reach out if you have any questions. And otherwise, enjoy your day or the night ahead of you. Thanks.